This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. MNC. On News Talk 95.3, 101.9 FM, and 1340 AM, your MNC nation stations.
Good morning. Welcome to Monday. I'm John Zimney in the MNC News Center. It's July the 8th, 2024. And the news getting started now with our top local stories on Michiana's Morning News. A 2-year-old boy is dead and a 37-year-old man in custody after a weekend standoff in Elkhart County.
The standoff, which lasted for nearly 20 hours, began Saturday night on Pendleton Drive near County Road 100. Deputies had been called to the home in the 57,000 block on a welfare check for a man and 2 children. The police report says that the man threatened to harm the children. Deputies attempted to contact him and learned that he was armed and threatening law enforcement officers. SWAT arrived shortly after midnight and the man barricaded himself in the home and fired his weapon. Other details are still pending, but Elkhart County Homicide and the Indiana State Police are investigating due to the death of the child. Tommy Lee, MNC News.
The man arrested is identified as 37-year-old Ryan Snyder. The other child's a 4-year-old girl. She is now with a relative. A Buchanan attorney has pleaded guilty to counts of criminal sexual conduct and prostitution-related charges. Leader Publications reports Lanny Fisher will spend a year in jail and 5 more on probation. He must also register as a sex offender for the next 15 years and pay close to $1,500 in fines and costs. It was during 2020, 21, and 22 that prosecutors say Fisher racked up as many as 7 victims by offering legal services for sexual favors. And an Elkhart man's been arrested after allegedly threatening and attacking a woman.
Police were called last Tuesday afternoon to the 300 block of Lusher Avenue and detained 31-year-old Charles Perez Herrera after the victim accused Herrera of slapping and choking the woman and slashing her in the leg with a knife. Herrera faces multiple charges, including criminal confinement and domestic battery with a deadly weapon. A judge set his bond at $90,000, and the case is currently under review by the Elkhart County Prosecutor's Office.
Investigations into a house fire in South Bend continue. Shortly before midnight on Friday morning, when crews were dispatched to the 700 block of Johnson Street, they found fire extending into the attic. They began attacking the fire and opening up the attic space where heavy flames were found. They got that fire under control in about 10 minutes. There were no injuries reported. New this morning on MNC, construction will soon begin on the federal Safe Routes to School project here in South Bend.
Repairing damaged sidewalk, installing new sidewalk, and constructing ADA-compliant curb ramps in areas around the school. It will improve walking and bicycling abilities around schools and is funded by the U.S. Department of Transportation's Safe Routes to Schools. Construction will begin on Monday, July 8, and will occur in various locations bounded by Ewing, Calvert, Taylor, and Kimball. Heather Starr, MNC News.
2 finalists will be interviewed for the position of St. Joseph City Manager. City Commissioners will interview John Ganem, who's the current City Manager of Bridgman, and Emily Hackworth, who's the current Assistant Manager of St. Joseph. Both those interviews will take place this month. Current City Manager John Hogston's retiring in the fall after 30 years of service to the city. And the Benton Harbor City Commissioners are looking for a new grant to help restore the Bobo Brazil Community Center.
The community center, named for the late city resident who went on to a career as a professional wrestler and baseball player, has been shut down since 2009. WSJM reports that a $1 million grant was given by the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity to reopen the center in the past, and the city is now working on a plan and determining the price tag to reopen the center. Benton Harbor hasn't had an indoor community center since the Bobo Brazil Center closed, and the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission says they're on board to help with the process. Grant recipients will be announced in August.
MNC News Time, 5:15. 2 people were injured in a shooting on Sunday afternoon on South Bend's east side. Police arrived at Northside Boulevard in the River Park area and found 2 injured people and took them to the hospital. Their conditions are currently not known. South Bend Police Violent Crimes Unit is investigating. Now the very latest after feds raided a home in South Bend and arrested a man on multiple drug and gun charges.
Donardo McCormack was found at a home in the 700 block of South Bendix Drive with fentanyl and other drugs. So many, in fact, that the raid triggered a hazmat situation. In all, there were 22 baggies with 170 grams of various drugs containing fentanyl. Most of the baggies were little blue pills. He also had several rifles and ammo that he wasn't supposed to have.
Also making news this morning, 4 Michigan paramedics who falsely declared a woman dead. who now may stand trial.
A Michigan appeals court has revived a civil lawsuit against 4 Detroit area paramedics after Tamisha Beauchamp was declared dead in August 2020. Beauchamp's family called 911 when she had trouble breathing, and paramedics tried to resuscitate her, then called a doctor who pronounced her dead. Funeral home employees who unzipped the body bag later that day found Beauchamp, who had cerebral palsy, eyes open, gasping for air. She died 2 months later, and her family sued the medical crew for gross negligence. A judge dismissed that suit. Now the appeals court panel unanimously says the judge was wrong to throw it out before evidence could be gathered and interviews done.
INDOT's announced lane closures on the US 20 bypass between US 31 and Ironwood Drive starting this week.
The lane closures are expected to start on or after Monday and will go through late November for 2 bridge deck overlay preventative maintenance projects over Miami Street and York Road. Drivers should be prepared for changing traffic patterns in the area and delays during peak times. INDOT is encouraging those behind the wheel to slow down and allow extra time when driving through the work zone. Heather Starr, MNC News.
US 421 is closing between US 30 and State Road 8 for 3 days. That detour will follow US 30, State Road 39, and State Road 8. Traffic can follow the posted detour or seek an alternate route. Local access to businesses and other property will be maintained, so traffic should exercise caution and follow the directions carefully in the area where the work is happening. An Elkhart man died in a motorcycle crash on Old US 33 near State Road 19. This happened just after 3 o'clock Saturday morning when Elkhart County Sheriff's deputies say 45-year-old Jason Bridges ran off the highway onto some property in the 28,000 block of Old 33, then struck a ditch and a street sign. Bridges was taken to the hospital where he died. Factors into that crash are still under investigation. An Edwardsburg woman was taken to the hospital after she crashed at M60 and Hospital Street in Cass County. This happened late on Saturday night. Investigators say the 20-year-old blew through a stop sign at the intersection and then lost control of the vehicle, went down an embankment, and came to rest in a wood lot. She was transported to Memorial Hospital in South Bend with just minor injuries. Now turning to Michiana's election headquarters, if Indiana's Libertarian candidate for Governor Donald Rainwater gets elected in November, he says he has a plan to fix increasing property taxes.
So I say when we close on a real estate transaction for a residential or agricultural property, you pay 7%. You either pay it at closing or you pay it 1% of the purchase for 7 years. When you've paid your 7%, you're done.
He says if you're a Hoosier, you should get the same property tax deal as everybody else. New this morning on MNC, Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales is telling over 120 federal agencies to stop providing voter registration services in the state.
Morales sent a letter in response to an executive order from President Biden in 2021 that mandates federal agencies to look into ways to encourage people to vote. Biden's order said options need to be consistent with applicable law. Morales says states know best how to run elections and said they don't need federal government overreach to run safe, secure elections. Morgan Hopkins, MNC News.
And June was Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, but the Michigan Alzheimer's Association says the disease needs year-round awareness.
More than 200,000 Michigan residents over age 65 are living with Alzheimer's, although only about half receive a doctor's diagnosis. This can delay necessary care and future planning. Catherine Reiben-Payne with the Alzheimer's Association says early diagnosis is key.
We're kind of coming into an era of treatment where we're seeing treatments come down the pipeline that necessitate early diagnosis. So if people are experiencing cognitive decline that they've noticed or their family members have noticed, we really encourage them to speak to their healthcare provider.
She says up to 40% of dementia cases could be caused by risk factors that a person could change by developing healthy habits. These include challenging yourself by learning new things and staying in school. Mike Wilson, MNC News.
Partly sunny skies today. We're going to see high temperatures right around 88 degrees this afternoon. A nice warm day, but we do have some slight chances of rain and thunderstorms mainly as we head into this afternoon and this evening. Overnight tonight, a few scattered showers. We drop to 68. And then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy, few chances of showers and thunderstorms, high temperatures right around 80. I'm meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
You can get the top local news delivered to your email twice each day. To get signed up, go to 953mnc.com. Click where it says on demand. Up next, top trading stories. We'll also check out your 5-day forecast. It's 5:13.
Podcasts by Federated Media.